Hell guys, we did several empire videos. These are the countries we already did: Albania, the UK, and Afghanistan. But now we'll be doing Algeria. We'll now be going by alphabetical order like we did the last couple of times. Algeria's color will be green. Green, because that's the most dominant color on the flag. Actually, I think it'll be this green. Okay, there we go, this green. So it'll be Algeria's first course of action. Well, there are several ways Algeria can expand. Algeria can expand further to the south, or take out Mauritania or Libya, which are much weaker countries. Morocco will be a much more difficult one, as Morocco is like the same strength. Tunisia is also not a pushover either. So I think the first course of action in this video will be to invade Mauritania. Yeah. Algeria invades Mauritania and will be using a green to signify this. Yeah, so this is a very quick invasion. Mauritania's army is not too strong. They get down here very quickly as well. And also Morocco will be further surrounded. And there we go. Mauritania is defeated. Dead. And there we go. Mauritania is now conquered by Algeria. Yeah. This causes Morocco to be very angry as they're now surrounded. This causes Morocco to declare war and take over all of Western Sahara as well. Yeah. Algeria invades the Western Sahara, helps the rebels as well, which will be this bluish color here. So basically the bluish color team is here. They don't really have a lot of military, but Algeria does invade the inner portions of Morocco as well, and Morocco finally accepts the win and basically gives up. Yeah. And Morocco will be forced to recognize Western Sahara's independence. Morocco will lose a bunch of land here to Algeria. So Algeria will basically annex all of this here. And next, what should Algeria do? So Algeria is becoming kind of like the sand country. We won't give them Western Sahara because it's really kind of pointless. Western Sahara is not a country. Now it is. But now, it is time to really solve this Libya problem. Libya has been causing a lot of problems, which causes Algeria, with the help of Tunisia and Western Sahara, to finally solve the Libya crisis. They all invade Libya, and the Libyan governments that have been divided for decades now are now basically being defeated relatively quickly. The other Libyan government basically says, this is not good. Then Egypt also joins in, and the fate is basically sealed. Libya will basically the solution to this is Libya will no longer be an existing country. Tunisia will gain this, Egypt will gain this, and Algeria will gain this. This is to ensure the rebellions in Libya never happen again. Again. I do so love the troll people. Now it is time to solve this crisis in the Sahara. Libya does not like the fact that these countries continually seem to have a massive civil war. So the first country to defeat is Mali. Libya invades the northern portions of Mali, and the country's northern portion has been defeated. Yeah. And all of this will be given to Libya. Considering the fact that southern Mali is very different than the rest of the country, the northern parts of the country will no longer exist, and now we'll have more natural borders in the Middle East. Now it's time to defeat Chad and Niger. These two countries, however, are total pushovers as well, and they invade all the countries as well. These portions of Niger and Chad, however, will be separate countries, and because these countries are basically almost total pushovers, these countries will be annexed. This causes some arousal from the worldwide globe. The EU basically says we're no longer giving imports from Algeria. They also deported anyone from Algeria in Europe because of suspicions of Algerians possibly rioting. This is the EU as of this time, and basically they did a massive expansion. Okay, Serbia is not part of the EU. So, I forgot this. Austria is part of the EU and Serbia is not. This causes basically... We're going to basically do what happens in the world at the time. Russia does win against Ukraine, and Ukraine is basically divided between Russia and a new pro-Russian government in this world. Guyana doesn't exist anymore. And in this world, the Koreas finally united after they couldn't find anyone to replace Kim Jong-un. And also, these countries united down here. So, South Sudan did not join because South Sudan was too undeveloped, but they are an observer member of this little union down here. And also, Cambindo, for some reason, was given to DRC. Now we're doing the finale of the video, the Great War. This starts by the invasion. This starts by the invasion of one country. What country could it be? Well, it is the newest crusade against Israel. A bunch of Arab and Middle Eastern states basically create a massive coalition for the war in Palestine that started the war in Gaza, excluding American allies. But basically this escalates into a full-on war between the European countries and the rest of the world, and Israel. All the countries that support Israel are basically surrounded. Of course, the people in the countries do support Israel, but the EU does not support Palestine. In this conflict, they support Israel and will do anything to defeat and let Israel win. Mostly because of the same of what happened in the past. The U.S., however, because of the current president of the new president of America, decides to say, you know what, we are not helping Israel, as America does not want to do anything with this whole nonsense in the Middle East. And the new president is even more anti-war than Trump as well. So, this causes a bunch of random countries to join in. Will any of these countries really contribute anything? Who really knows? But this is the current battlegrounds for World War III. We basically end every scenario with a World War III scenario. That's how it is. And basically, the war ends with the red team. We're going to actually do the war. So the battle goes Israel does hold its own, but the Moldova and several European countries do not want to be dragged into this war, so several countries do actually exit the war, as they don't want to be involved immediately. Even if they're part of NATO, they don't want to be. They say, you know what, this whole war thing is pointless, and we all quitting. So basically, then the invasion begins of these European countries up here, and of Finland. With the help of China, Russia is able to defeat Finland's army. But the main conflict here is in the Middle East, where they start to invade Israel, and basically Israel is surrounded. Saudi Arabia is invaded by Iran and Algeria from the south. There is not really much war in Africa. It's just a war in the Middle East, and this is the major war of this video. Yeah, unfortunately, this video there isn't much massive build-up like in the British video. Yeah, but yeah, the Saudi Arabia is surrounded. Also, they invade Italy. Only that might make America fall, because then Algeria would lose the war, and it would be in this video would not be fun at all. They also invade the Balkans and these countries here. Turkey invades a lot of these Balkan countries here, and it is looking pretty bad. They call one more time for America to come help, and America President said, like in World War II, we don't want to help. But these countries have no interest in attacking America. Several countries do leave the war, like China, India, Australia, New Zealand, and they see no point in this conflict. Even Canada. The Canadian president says, you know what, we're losing our men over this losing war, and we don't want to lose. We're not gonna fill out. Same thing in several of these countries over here. And basically the war is over. This is the quickest World War III ever. But yeah. Now it's time to decolor all the countries. And now it's time for the peace treaty. No one really gained out of this, but except Israel is forced to recognize Palestine as a country. So this will be Palestine in this northern area. Will be Israel. The West Bank will be eliminated off the map, but Israel will be forced to give Palestine its own country. That's basically the result of this. But then we still have another conflict to go, because Algeria's expansion is still not over. So, the final expansion is towards Nigeria, and they declare war on Nigeria, and you're just coloring the country red, and the invasion of Nigeria begins, with Algeria taking over a lot of these areas here. The thing with Nigeria is this is a very populated nation, but it's not a very strong country, mostly on the coast, and all the allies come in to help, so all of the puppet states of Algeria and friends do come in to help. And Nigeria is defeated in no time. Nigeria, of course, surrenders. And this is the end of this video. The Christian part of Nigeria is basically left alone. These are like the Christian majority areas in the south. Also, all of the puppet states are officially annexed into Algeria, as basically all of these puppet states, except for Western Sahara, which was a country that gained its independence. Basically, now we have the Algerian Empire, which will be giving it this dark green color. For They do not own the Ivory Coast. Sorry about that. We'll get to the Ivory Coast in a way later. But we have other series, of course. This is not my most important series in the world. But Algeria has now formed an empire.